Hey there, welcome back to the Blissful Biz podcast. Recording this podcast every week is my favorite thing on my to do list each Monday. Honestly, it's so good to be here with you today. I feel like I'm here with you having a coffee in a funny virtual way where time has no meaning because obviously, I'm recording this before you can listen to it. Anyway, I just wrapped up my launch of the Blissful Biz Academy, and oh my goodness, this one felt completely different from anything I did last year. You know that feeling when something in your life just shifts? That's exactly what happened. So, how did I get there? I know I talked about the Blissful Biz Academy a lot in the last weeks, like a lot, but in this episode, I'm sharing something very different. So, stay with me. I'm Susanne Riker, digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience, turned yoga teacher, turned six-figure online business owner. 10 years ago, I flew to Bali for a yoga teacher training, fell in love with the island, and decided to build an online business so I could live there. Can't be that hard, right? That decision launched me into an adventure bigger than I'd ever imagined. Over the last 8 years, I've guided over 1,000 yoga teachers and heart-led coaches how to launch and sell their digital offers, build their brand and websites, and build a profitable online business. In this podcast, I share real proven strategies and the exact steps that work. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, we'll dive into everything from creating offers your students can't resist to making digital marketing work for you. If you're ready to build a business that brings both freedom and success, you are in the right place. A few months ago, my intuition started nudging me. Actually, it wasn't just nudging, it was practically shoving me, telling me I needed to completely restructure the Blissful Biz Academy. Not just little tweaks here and there, but a total overhaul. And honestly, I resisted it hard. I kept thinking, are you kidding me? So much work. I shouldn't do this. My offer is already good. I should just focus on selling it better. That's where the real mindset blocks are, probably, whatever. That's what made logical sense, right? Because I knew my offer was good. It wasn't really outdated. But still, there was this voice. And to be honest, in the past, I probably would have stopped myself right there. I would have ignored that inner voice and done what seemed like the obvious strategy on paper. But something shifted for me lately. I've been doing a lot more inner voice work in my business decisions. So instead of pushing that intuition aside, I sat with it. I got really quiet and asked myself, what was the right next step? What felt good and right? What felt like expansion, not just fear disguised as practicality or strategy? And then I knew. It became crystal clear this is what I need to do. I made the decision and I became unwavering in it. I set up a brand new masterclass. I completely restructured the academy from the ground up. I made it like a super clear roadmap, a path for people to follow. And now I'm in the midst of updating all the content. Module 3 is dripping next week. And I'm working with this amazing group of women, guiding them through the process of launching their signature online programs and setting up their automated sales systems. And I love it. So yes, it's a lot of work, not gonna lie. I've been practically living in my office in front of my computer, coffee mugs everywhere, sticky notes covering my walls, late night with my dog judging me from across the room. There have been moments where I've questioned my sanity. Like, who decides to completely overhaul their signature program in a few weeks? But here's the thing, it feels good. It feels exciting. It lifts me up in a way that just selling harder never would have. And I know deep in my soul that a big break is just around the corner. That this offer changes everything for my students and for me too. So, what helped me get here? How did I come to that decision and became unwavering and so sure that this would work out? What helped me trust that inner knowing instead of staying safe and comfortable? That's exactly what I want to talk about today. A few years ago, I was having one of those deep, wine-fueled conversations, to be honest, with a dear friend. You know, the kind that happens when you've gotten past all the small talk. She introduced me to this concept that I knew about in theory, but it became a concept and it completely changed my perspective. DSD, doing something different. Sounds ridiculously simple, right? And I mean, we all heard about that, but stay with me. When I look back at every significant leap in my business, those moments where everything shifted and expanded, it wasn't because I worked harder doing the same things. It was because I gathered my courage and did something radically different. Like this rebuild of the Blissful Biz Academy. If I'd followed the logical path, I would have made some minor tweaks, maybe updated a few videos and called it a day. The safe choice was there, but that wasn't what my gut was telling me to do. Doing something different rarely feels convenient. It's messy. It's vulnerable. It often makes no sense on paper. But I've learned that's precisely where things start to open up in beautiful, unexpected ways. Think about your own journey for a second. When was the last time something truly transformative happened in your business? I bet it wasn't when you were comfortably following your usual routine, right? I bet it wasn't. It was when you were trying something different, something new. Now, can we talk about that fluttery, anxious energy that shows up so often right before that, before you try something new? It's not always easy. It can be scary. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That swarm of butterflies that takes up residence in your stomach and makes you feel like maybe you should just stay in bed instead. Maybe that's a little bit too much outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you're already overwhelmed. Maybe it's time to step back. And in the past, I interpreted that feeling often as a warning, a big red stop sign from my body saying, "Whoa there, this is dangerous territory." A sign to play it safe. Maybe you felt the same way. But here's what years of pushing boundaries have taught me. Those butterflies aren't telling you to stop. They're actually your intuition's way of saying, hey, pay attention. This matters. This is where growth happens. I felt those butterflies when I launched my very first online course. Oh my goodness, I was a complete mess. I was literally pacing around my little bungalow in Bali where I was living at the time, checking my email every 2 minutes, wondering if anyone would actually buy it. And I remember how I felt those butterflies when I left my job in advertising. That was a big one. I had a really good job, a steady paycheck, and something inside me kept whispering that there was more. That whisper eventually became so loud I couldn't ignore it anymore. And the day I handed in my resignation, my hands were literally shaking. But there was this excitement underneath it all, and I just couldn't deny it anymore. Here's what I've come to understand after years in business. Those butterflies in your stomach, they're not warning signs telling you to play small and stay safe. They're cosmic nudges pushing you toward your next level of growth. They're like little signposts saying, this way to the good stuff. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive in your business? When you felt that buzz of energy and excitement? I bet it wasn't when you were doing your comfortable, usual routine. It was probably when you pitched that dream client you thought was out of your league, or finally raised your prices to reflect your true value, or created and launched something totally new. Each of these moments probably felt terrifying and exciting at the same time. And that's not a coincidence. That's your inner wisdom speaking. That's your soul nudging you toward expansion. Now, here's the tricky part. How do you know when that fear is actually helping you grow? And when it's your intuition legitimately saying, nope, not this direction? Because, let's be real, not every scary opportunity is the right one. So how do we tell the difference? Let me share how I've learned to tell the difference, and I swear this has saved me so many times. When it's fear holding you back, it feels small and contracting. It's like your whole body physically shrinks. Your breath becomes shallow, your shoulders hunch forward, and the voice in your head, it tends to sound like criticism or judgment. Who do you think you are? You are going to look stupid. Nobody will buy this. Everyone will laugh at you. That kind of negative self-talk is usually just plain old fear. But when it's your intuition guiding you, even if it's guiding you to pause or not take action, it feels completely different. There's this sense of expansion, even when the message is not now or not this way. Your gut feeling doesn't come with criticism or judgment. It comes with clarity. It might not always be logical, but it feels centered and grounded. There's a certain peace to it, even if the message isn't what you consciously wanted to hear. So how do you start embracing these moments of beautiful discomfort in your own life and business? Here's what I've learned along the way. First, start noticing those dual feelings of fear and excitement. They're like little Christmas lights illuminating your path to growth. When something scares you and excites you simultaneously, pay attention. That's your expansion calling. I also like journaling. When I feel that flutter of, ooh, this is scary but exciting, I write it down. It helps me get clarity on what's really just fear versus what's an opportunity for growth. Second, start small. You don't have to reinvent your entire business model or your life tomorrow. Maybe your do something different moment is having that difficult conversation with a student about boundaries, or posting that vulnerable story on Instagram that you've been hesitating to share. Third, try this exercise that's been super powerful for me. Create a future me journal entry. Write about how your life and business will be different 12 months from now if you take this leap. Get super specific. Feel into the possibility. Connect with the version of you who already made the leap. Fourth, and this is probably the most important one, check in with your body. Remember what I said about the difference between fear and intuition? Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does this feel expansive or contracting? Your body knows the answer way before your mind does. It never lies. If you're waiting for a sign to do that scary, exciting thing that's been tugging at your heart, consider this episode your permission slip, whether it's finally creating that signature program you've been dreaming about, or raising your prices to reflect your true value, or starting that podcast or YouTube channel you keep thinking about, or writing your book, or hiring your first team member, or something else entirely that's calling to you. Remember, the difference between where you are and where you want to be is often just one brave decision to do something different. Every single major breakthrough in my business came directly after a moment when I wanted to play it safe. Every single one. The time I doubled the price for one of my programs, I almost chickened out the night before sending the email. But here's what I've come to understand after years of pushing my own boundaries. Comfort zones are like those cozy blankets that feel amazing on a Sunday morning. They are warm, they're familiar, and they make us feel safe. But if we never leave that blanket fort, we miss the sunrise, the adventure, the connection with others. I found that my most profound business evolutions happened when I was simultaneously thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this, and I can't believe I get to do this. That's where your business gets its wings. So, before we wrap up, I want to give you a challenge. This week, identify one thing that both scares and excites you in your business. Just one little thing. Write it down and then take one tiny step toward it. Just one step. For example, if it's raising your prices, maybe your one step is simply drafting the email to your clients. Not sending it, just drafting it. If it's launching a podcast, maybe it's researching microphones or brainstorming your first 5 episode topics. Remember that butterfly feeling. It's not telling you to stay small. It's inviting you to spread your wings. And on the other side of that discomfort is a whole world of freedom and possibility that's waiting just for you. Thank you for being here with me today. These conversations mean the world to me, and I'm so grateful we get to be on this journey together. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might appreciate it too. We are all in this together. Until next time, keep being brave, keep being you, and keep doing something different. Big hugs. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you hit subscribe and left a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other yoga teachers and coaches find these strategies too, and it would mean the world to me. It really makes a difference. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website, susannereiker.com, where you'll find my free resources, latest blog posts, and all the ways we can work together to grow your online business. Until next week, keep building your blissful biz.